There are like a lot of regulatory pressures, the interest rates are rising, there's a lot of inflation as well, there is rising protectionism. And what does all of this translate into? It translates into higher costs for the organization. And as Dr. Gaurav also mentioned, that while India is on the way to becoming the world's third largest economy, it's going to happen sooner than 2030. It is going to happen in the next 1.5 years, possibly. So we all are on a growth path, and costs are rising rapidly. So my question to the panelists is that, so what are you doing internally within your organizations to control costs, that is, for the cost optimization? And if you could also share some of the AI use cases. While we've all been talking about AI, but the resounding sort of feedback, or what I heard from the audience was that we are all talking about technology, but how exactly are we using this novel technology within our organizations? So Rahul, would you like to go first?
Sure. I think there was some Bollywood flavor going since yesterday, so let me start with this. कि एक पैसे की कीमत तुम क्या जानो CFO बाबू? Ask me. Every paisa adds 1 crore rupees to our bottom line, and every rupee adds 100 crores to our bottom line. So I think it's so important that when you manage costs, and in a business like ours, which is of high scale, we do anywhere between 60 to 65,000 crores on an annual basis right now, and looking at every paisa, every part of the supply chain ecosystem to be able to deliver the economies of scale and be able to deliver all the outcomes that we do to consumers. So that's the real aim. We talked about how do we use say technology in the business, and we'll take a few real life examples around in our metrics. Ultimately, the funnel starts from you acquiring a consumer either through a paid performance channel, which is you pay the digital landlords like Meta and Google. You get users to download, transact on your app. You also get, if you're lucky, over time when you build a good brand, you also get a lot of free organic users. In that journey, while you can acquire through paid channels, there is a certain cost of acquisition. What's more important is retention. And you can't imagine the amount of effort that we put in what we call the remarketing, which is reactivating the dormant users. So our ratio of reactivating users who already transacted with us and who have gone dormant for say maybe 3 months or more would actually be 3 or 4 times the effort that we put in just acquiring new users. Now within this, think of every use case that you do, and when you look at the funnel, that where does the drop off happen across the time the consumer came onto your platform, went to the discovery channel, they searched for something, they did not find anything. They did not find their specific brand. They went through the category search. They added to cart. Then they looked at various fees. So the every eyeball or movement of that individual is tracked for us to be able to identify where did this funnel drop off happen and what could we do for this particular user. And ultimately, when you aggregate this over a set of users, what you call aggregated data. So while personalized data is something we specifically don't use, but what we do is use this to do big data on the cohort of users, and then keep giving you specific promotions, campaigns, notifications. Sometimes the funny ones is from, we have a very, very young social media team, and we talked about how do you, relate to Gen Z. When you get those sweet little messages, even we as probably, adults in the room feel really young. In terms of, hey, it's time, it's what, we're hungry o'clock, it's 12 o'clock, you haven't had your meal. So it's almost giving you such sweet messages to be able to influence you to come back to the platform. So I think there's a lot of this that we do now, whether you call it technology, AI. What you're really going after is the business case. You're understanding your business, consumer through the digital route. There's obviously consumer emotions really help, but with the size that we operate, it's very important to look at these digital signals and improve our conversion rate. So that's one big use case which significantly reduces our cost of retaining consumers and ultimately helps in the bottom line because you don't have to acquire those many more new consumers to still deliver 100% kind of growth in our business. So that's.
So now you know that why all of us are spending a lot more than we actually want to, right, before getting onto the app. So what about you? Like,
So I come from an industry which is where the business is heavily commoditized, and that obviously means that cost is always a key focus area for us. And technology, digital, I know we have had an overkill of technology and digital today, but it's a lifesaver for us. We talked about use cases. I think we have in the recent last 2 years, I think n number of cases we are trying to use technology, AI. For example, we are leveraging agentic AI to interview people. We probably will not go the whole hog in getting the entire selection done, but that saves a huge amount of cost for us when we get the agentic AI to interview people in the first few stages. Get the short list and then we go about the business. A lot of our business comes on a time and material basis, the way we bill our clients. So a lot of data comes to us from clients in the form of timesheets. It could be in various formats. So we use AI to scan those timesheets and our ability to connect those timesheets to our billing system. We have been able to use timesheets to get our collection systems better, where we have going to our clients to collect money, and very often you have the clients telling us that we have not received your invoices. Sorry, your invoice has not come to us in a particular format. I have not acknowledged your invoice. So we have been able to use AI to collect the invoices with all the supporting documents, put it in the client's portal, and getting an acknowledgement from the client. So all this has significantly improved our cost base, and that very often becomes a differentiator when we go to the client and go to the market, in fact, and try to get clients.
thanks, Krishnan. What about you, Linu?
So hi. So I think every business will have its own peculiarity, right? Like he mentioned about Swiggy and his business and all that. So I'll try to take a real-time example, which can be, I think, common for every or most of the business. So I have been the CFO of consulting business of Infosys for a long time, and then recently I joined a travel and tech arm of, it used to be Indigo company called IGT Solutions, right? So there is a point of time there was a lot of stress on the margins on the consulting business, right? It used to be a single digit margin. There was a difficult acquisition done, right? So the problem statement was that, right, means how you can improve the margin, right? So one, you wear that traditional hat of a CFO and you start cutting down, putting a budget, variance, and then just cutting down everything and doing some tough conversation, etc. and all that. And that was really not working. So what should we do, right? So we put the business partners on our side, right? We try to empower them, right? This is what you have to deliver, and whatever the numbers you are bringing, you can reinvest in your business. You can do comm correction. You can invest in your trainings, learning, etc., and all that. Business, it used to be a single-digit margin. Except means when I left, right, it became a double-digit margin, right, and used to compete with the larger Infosys margin, which is close to 20% PBT. So in my view, I think the more we empower the people, right, build up the relationships, invest in the relationships, try to, I think someone mentioned, can we paint a bigger picture, right? Create a trust. I think that create a whole set of difference. And people will come to you for conversations. They will come with the business cases. Right? The current business where I am right now, right? It is so much disrupted. So I met one of colleagues from our competitors, right? It is so much disrupted by technology, right? Or AI, whatever we talk. We don't know in which direction the volumes will go, means how my agent is going to behave. But at the end of the day, you have to deliver the margins to the board and investors. And my investor keep telling me, you spend 1 rupee, you destroy valuation by 15 rupees. Right? And same message we give to the people, right? When you save 1 rupee, it is 15 rupees you are adding to the valuation. And more or less, right? It's not that we understand the business, being the finance, they also understand the business. So my point is, again, repeating the same thing, trust the people, tell them what we want to do, and I don't think a sane person will try to spend where money should not be spent.
So I think, Ajay, while I've heard a lot of CFO talk about the basics, but I've never heard any CFO say that get the margins in, make the margins healthier, and we improve the compensation fund for you. So that was, one of the...
So it really was gambling, right? It's really was, right? So see, it's like this, right? If I'm telling you, right? So you improve the margins say by 5%, right? So you create it, and I'll give exact number. So we, in 2018, we generated $210 million, right? 210 million is, Many companies don't have revenue of that scale. Now, if I have to invest back say 50 million for various issues, right? Whether it's a palm collection, investment, giving bonuses, etc., and all that, right? So why someone will not do? And your job becomes very, very easier, and you have very healthy, very fruitful conversation. Instead of kind of talking, you create a budget, do a variance analysis. Okay, I will cut marketing, I will do this.
So partnership, that's great. Yeah.
Yeah. So I am the wild card entry diversity. Diversity from a diversity point of view. So everybody is modifying dialogue, so I thought I'll also say something. So ये जो बिजली चमक रही है, ladies and gentlemen, it's coming from power industry. Just imagine if there's a blackout here, right? I'm sure none of us will be able to, will be like frozen in one place and we'll wait for the light to come back. So that's the power, that's the power industry's relevance in day-to-day life. Today, if you look at the peaking power, it's close to like 250 megawatt. And in future, in less than 5 years' time, we're going to go up to 400 megawatt, so gigawatt. And hence, it's very important for us that we guarantee availability, output, and reliability to our customers. Downtime for them means loss of millions of dollars. So we rely heavily on AI, ML tools. We have sensors in our gas turbines which sense data all the way to Atlanta and M&D centers in China. And we monitor these gas turbines on a 24-hour basis. We see that nothing goes wrong, there's no tripping, there's no shutdown. Apart from that, whenever we have outages, we use, again, smart outage platforms to monitor our outage on a day-to-day basis, and nothing goes wrong for our customers and for us as well. Hence, we rely heavily on these tools to use these tools as monitoring and diagnostic medium for our gas turbines. Apart from that, now, that was more from an outage standpoint. We also invest a lot on predictive analysis because for us, it's not just today, but we also need to kind of manage the volatility over a period of 10 to 15 years. So these tools help us integrate into another tool which helps us simulate outage timings, the cost of the outage, and we also then collaborate with our customers to understand the cash volatility. We also advise them on payback, on IRR. So yes, we all spoke about AI. I mean, one gentleman was saying if you Google like how many times we have mentioned AI, it's a lot. But what Vernova does is use these tools for doing predictive analysis, and which has helped us a lot. And yes, Madam Sumedha, we use SAP Concur as well to manage DNL, and it has helped us a lot. Yes, so from an analytics point of view, we are able to, from a compliance standpoint, we have all the supporting documents uploaded onto the portal as very automated because from a GE policy standpoint, we are one of the best ethical companies in the world. We are, and we will continue to be. Hence, no compromise with compliance. If every time if somebody gets into a zone where it's out of policy, it will pop up and say out of policy. So it's very user friendly. So we've been using it, very effective tool.
Perfect. So Linu, if I were to like vote for the future CEO with the dialogues you borrowed, I'll definitely vote for you. So my vote goes to Linu.
Thank you.
And thank you for also letting us know that how AI is powering all this up. So what do you?
So at Sagility, as I said earlier, we are a BPO company, and more so the IT, we use advanced IT on the BPO side. So what we do is basically we have call centers as well as back office, and our revenue is based on volumes that we deliver to our clients. And this is where AI helps us, because what it does is, when there is a call from a customer, So we basically cater to the US market, right? And our agents are based out of India, Philippines, Jamaica, Colombia, etc. And most of them in India and the Philippines. So when there is a call that comes in, the AI helps summarize the call very fast. In our case, we cater to the insurance sector, and every members, before a policy is issued, we have all the details. So, and we have lakhs and lakhs of members and calls coming in from these insurance companies. I mean, to the insurance companies which we pick up. So, identifying the member and also their history and understanding the question and also giving the right response is where we use AI, which has actually helped us improve our productivity by about 30% across. We also have used AI extensively where, the insurance companies, once they process a claim towards a hospital, they do have a window to go and recover that in case there is a mistake. So the way we have deployed and developed tools is to say that, hey, look, why don't you scan through n number of times, and when you're tired, you bring it to us, and whatever we can recover for you, out of that, when you recover that money, you pay us a certain percentage. So that is one of the streams of our revenue, and that gives us almost about $20 to $25 million. So that's the amount of leakage in the industry, but AI has helped us significantly there. A little bit on the finance, like I said earlier, what we have done is we have also first built in prototypes for an early close, ease of process. We have built something called an AP tracker where we have built in multi-scenarios pertaining to every vendor and brought it into one platform. And from the prototype that we built using macros, we have converted or taken the help of AI to streamline it far better. So every day now, our GL teams, AP teams, they run the AP tracker to identify what are the state of advance with the vendor. They follow up for invoices. Typically, the AP tracker plots the amount in the service period column. So that also helps us to get correct and faster accrual. And this has resulted in a fast book close. Today we run the entire consolidation in about 30 minutes, and then it comes out in the Ind AS IFRS format. And within another 2-3 days, we are ready to present it to our auditors. So that's the kind of power that we have built up using the AI platforms and automation track. So if I'm of any help to any of you, please do feel free to reach out to me, and we can have a conversation.
That's quite an extensive use cases rather, which you've explained. Thank you for that. And my last question to the panel before I sort of get down with the audience. So, my request is if you could just maybe answer that within 90 seconds. So I'm just going to narrow the conversation down from overall cost optimization within the organization to employee spend management. So what we've observed is that when organizations implement any kind of employee spend management solution, they go with whatever is possible. Like they build maximum number of controls within the system because maybe something like that wasn't possible earlier. So that usually leads to bad employee experience. So my question to you is that how do you then balance sort of employee experience with having sort of stringent controls within the organization, and that you are complying, that the employees are complying to internal policies as well as regulations while being happy, like there should not be any noise in the system.
Yeah, I think so. One of the things that we did very early on, and we are a startup, and we were just thinking whether to put in the controls like typically a large company would. We had a very young set of employees. When we started up, our average age of the employee was 26. Now it's probably more to 31, but still remains young. I think one of the tenets we used was let's trust employees, right? That they will do the right thing. And especially in a startup context, it was easy to set up that culture because anyway, It wasn't like money was being coming from Uncle Sam, right? So everybody knew that they had to contribute back. And over time, we realized that as the organization grew larger and larger, the early employees, etc., the culture that you were able to build, that may, not be the same, right? Because overall the size increases, new, culture comes in. So what we did was really put in the org policies and then automate it. So we to date do not have any approval systems across the company, right? So everybody knows exactly what their rules and policies are. For example, depending on the grade, the hotels, etc., only the ones which depends on the grade will show up when they are booking. It's all self-serve. So there's a lot of stuff that we've done, just putting back the trust, putting in the automation, putting in the controls, and any exceptions are handled again through technology itself. So there is no human interference. It's a small part of our overall cost, so therefore we don't necessarily spend too much time. But I think it's really working, right? So overall, we are well within our budgets. We don't overspend, and I think the employee experience has been very good. It starts with trusting, and then just putting in the right kind of checks and balances to ensure that trust factor remains.
So when it comes to expense management, it's always a fine balance, right? Experience, controls, compliance. The way we look at it is, I think the way I look at it rather is three buckets. One is how do you get the noise down? How do you keep the basic hygiene in place? And noise down includes controls, noise down includes compliances, noise down includes agility, and these are unnecessary noise. I mean, the lesser you have, the better it is for the company, for you. The second aspect is about cost. Cost is about managing the process and managing the cost in terms of the way you look at hotels or airlines or what kind of insights you can get and how do you manage that cost. And the third aspect is about analytics. Data, we collect a lot of data and how do you use that data to not only get your cost down but also improve the business. I think with the help of technology we have made a lot of progress. There is, as Rahul mentioned, there's a lot of trust which has been built into the system. There is compliances both in terms of policy. There is also understanding that integrity is topmost, come what may. It is non-compromised, and people are aware that if they take the wrong step, I think consequences is not going to be very nice. So all this is a fine balance. I think we have come a distance. I think there's a long way to go in terms of some of this. And the industry we are part of, we have about 75,000 of our associates working in different clients. So a lot of this cost also forms a part of our revenue. So it's important for us to manage this actually.
Trust, most important factor, clear policies, right? Very, very objective policies, right? And then listening to the employee, right? Revising the policies periodically, right? Means creating the SLA that you need to pay to the employee. Employee cannot fund the expenses for the company, right? You have to take clear exceptions routes, right? And then if someone plays through the policy system, take a very specific action on the employee, right? So it becomes a lesson for others. So it's a fair game for everyone. One thing what we have done, right? So at least every 6 months we revise the policy, but based on whatever feedback we get. So our business, we have centers in places like Bogota, right, in Colombia, Cape Town in South Africa. So these locations, right? So we have very, very specific requirements, right? A specific card may not work, right? An employee may want a certain more time, right, in order to find out the accommodation or some help, right? So those we take care. So a good customer experience, well-defined policies, and a good compliance.
So for us at GE, compliance and integrity is non-negotiable. We communicate our policies in a transparent way. We do refresher sessions. We also take feedback, and if need be, we go back to a policy and revise it as well. But of course, Concur has helped us. We can pull data, we can analyze where the spend has gone up, and the supporting documents, etc. And we have concurrent audits. If anything is caught, stringent action is taken. So, yes, we don't compromise on ethics.
So for us, it's all of what we have said, plus one additional stuff. So within the policy itself, what we have said is, in case the deviation is by about 3%, up to 3%, then instead of seeking additional approvals, it will be an intimation with justification. So that, you cut off one more time what would your boss ultimately say if it is a bona fide deviation? He'll just approve it. So why do you have to first make him approve and all of that? So we just say intimation with an explanation on the deviation. And beyond that is when it comes for an approval, and the boss has to justify within the system before they approve as to why did they approve. So that has sort of led it to be a little firm, friendly as well as flexible.
Last type of a simple one that you can control black, white. It is impossible to control gray. You have to create a policy so that it can take away that gray element from the process.